Hey, TZL once again here with another deck optimizer video. Here with Dragon Lord Felgrand, and one thing that I do love about this deck is just how it's just so fast. When you get a good hand, it is really fast, and it just loops Felgrand with Arcbrave over and over again. And just knowing the two effects of these two dragons, in which Felgrand, the Dragon Lord, he banishes monsters and he gains attack based on how high that card's level is. And for Arcbrave Dragon, this is the crucial card in which if it's sent to from the field or from the hand or from the deck to the graveyard, it can special summon any level 7 or 8 dragon monster from the graveyard. And in this case, it's Felgrand Dragon, which triggers Felgrand's effect. And if they're both on the board and they both go to the graveyard simultaneously, it just triggers the effect once again. And in some cases, you can just trigger this loop that just goes on and on. And in most cases, I'm just trying to maintain the loop, more or less, not even worry about the opponent. But in this video, you can kind of just see the speed of this deck, as well as just the consistency, as I have several videos that I could just put together and just show you here. But I'm just going to limit this to about 5 minutes or so, just footage and a couple of duels, as the opponent here just wasn't very strong. I don't know what their deck is really about. I know it's just a Neospatian type of deck. I don't know if it's like a Contact Fusion deck, but it just didn't work. I wasn't going to let it happen, as he didn't have anything to disrupt my plays. In the second video here, we can see Despots. Once again, I'm not sure how well this deck that I'm going up against is constructed, as I will say, one thing about the deck optimizer as a tool, any deck that you create with this tool, I would say within the guidelines there, in terms of how well you can build a deck, or just putting the correct cards in the pool, you shouldn't lose to decks that aren't built as well, or with conscious thought of just the pluses and the minuses and things of that nature. As that's one huge advantage, as even fun decks like this can be looking like a really competitive deck and just a nuisance to deal with, as any deck that has this much removal and this much consistency and this much speed, you would have to put it on some kind of tier. You want to say it's like tier 2 or tier 3 at the worst, I don't know, but you know, until this deck is in some sort of advantage topping and things of that sort, I can't really say it's in any tier. It's just a fun deck, as I probably wouldn't play this. As another weakness of the deck is that you can really have some brick hands, and when you have a brick hand, you pretty much just have to surrender and you just scoop it up and just start the next duel. However, one cool thing with the optimizer as a tool, I think for the decks that I've constructed so far, it has a good ratio as to, and what I mean by that is, when you build a good deck, you're going to have hands to where you should win a match, or just 2 out of every 3 duels. It shouldn't be any less than that. And if you're creating decks where you can't get the key cards, you can't get the target cards in your hand, then something's obviously wrong. And we'll just keep pumping out videos here for you guys to watch, and just see just some of the mindsets that I go through in terms of just building decks, as not every deck is made the same, as pendulum decks, synchro based decks, or seed based decks, they all function a little bit differently. But one thing that the optimizer as a tool focuses on is just that inherent plus and minus, and making sure that you're getting the most of all the cards that you're playing in your deck. That way you have some speed, consistency, and power, as you see in this video with the Felgrand deck. And just going into this clip here, I mean, Arcbrave Dragon is just like the bane of all pendulum decks, as you just don't want to see your scales get banished like this, as it's not the destruction. They don't go back to the extra deck, as that can be a huge setback to a pendulum based deck here. As I'm surprised this person is playing some sort of Metamorphosis. It's like a combination of 3 different archetypes here. As I see some Cosmo and Blue Layer. I'm like, what is this? But I think the opponent had a misplay. I'm not sure why he didn't tried to activate the blue layer Exceed monster effect on his turn. I know he couldn't activate it on my turn as he didn't have the correct card as material, but I don't know. I think that might have been a misplay, but even then, I would have just played through it either way. It didn't matter too much at in this stage of the game. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, just in these videos, the speed is just insane. And I went ahead and made another version of the deck beyond this video here, as this clip is a day old here, but I just wanted to get this out here and just show you how fast this deck can be and how annoying it can be as well. Last clip here, I'm just going up against Madolche, and it's not much to really show here as I cause the opponent to rage quit. And his decks that rely on just 1 or 2 or just even a few face-up cards on the field, whether it's spells and traps and so on and so forth. That's the one cool thing about Felgrand, is that it can just totally disrupt all of that when they don't even expect it. If they don't know how the deck functions, they don't know how the deck plays, it just catches them off guard completely, and from there they just scoop it up. And I can't blame him for that, but I can only blame him for the ignorance of the deck, and hopefully this video can kind of remedy that to some degree. But if not, it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.